so that way it lasts for a long time. So let's get to it. Thank you all so much for joining in. I recognize everyone on the call tonight, but I know that not everyone might. So it is cool to kind of browse through the chat to see where everyone's calling in from. I just want to take a quick moment to recognize that I am calling in from Kejipuktuk, which is Halifax, located on unceded Mi'kmaq territory. It's important to recognize the land in which we call home, especially given that most of it is unceded. That being said, tonight we're going to just go over Stop Trashing its accomplishments to date, talking about 2019 and 2020 because we didn't do an AGM last year. And we're going to talk a little bit about what is ahead in the future. We also have some awesome prizes that our board members pulled together. And so we're going to pull names throughout the AGM for those prizes. So if you're interested in some of those, in the chat, rather than sending a message to everyone, if you hit the drop down, you can hit Eric's name. Eric's our treasurer. And you could kindly pop your email to Eric, and Eric is going to put it into a spreadsheet. And when the time comes to draw a name, you might be a lucky winner. So as a test, everyone, if you would like to send your email to just Eric, so that way not everyone gets your email, feel free to go ahead and do so. We have 5 prizes to give away tonight and 11 people calling in. So there is a very good chance that you could win an awesome prize. Cool. Some other features of Zoom for those who aren't familiar. You can also react to certain things. You can give thumbs up and you can give smiley faces, and those should be at the bottom of your screen. Cool. Eric, have you gotten some emails? Is that working okay?
Yeah, working great.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, great. I am just going to get myself set up here. Here we go. Ooh. So I want to share a little bit about the who, what, where, when, why, how of Stop Trashing It to make sure that everyone's on the same page. So Stop Trashing It is a network of low waste individuals, which includes the director, ambassadors, our board, as well as our members. We're an environmental nonprofit organization, also called an ENGO. Technically, we're listed as a society rather than a charity. And our mission is turning awareness into action when it comes to living lighter on our planet. And something that most folks don't know is we're actually designated as a Sustainable Oceans Alliance Ocean Solutions Hub. So as I mentioned earlier, we're technically based in Halifax, which is Kejipuktuk, but we have ambassadors all across Canada, in Ontario, Quebec, BC. One of our ambassadors was floating between Newfoundland and Nova Scotia at one point, and as well as Washington, DC. I should have included Nova Scotia, but I thought that was a given considering that we're based in Halifax. So we did start in January of 2019. The idea came to me in December of 2018, but we officially became an ENGO as of January 2020. So essentially that distinction requires that we have a board and that meets quarterly, and that we have an AGM, and how we structure things is just a little bit different, but mostly things remain the same. And the why behind Stop Trashing It, I think most of us here will agree that we have an undeniable waste problem, and most people know it too, yet going zero waste can often be overwhelming because we lack the tools to get there. And that's where Stop Trashing It comes in. We're trying to shift that awareness into action by hosting waste reduction workshops, conducting outreach events, creating engaging social media content, while running a blog as well. And a key feature of that is empowering youth while we do that. And that's really mainly through the youth ambassadors, as well as other collaborations as well. So our main funders currently are Taking It Global. They're part of Canada Youth Corps. We are recipients of Sustainable Oceans Alliance Ocean Solutions Microgrant, and we also received a DSU Green Grant earlier in the year. Our main collaborators include the Vieth House, the Living Earth Council, the Tear Shop, Oceans Week Halifax, Dalhousie University, and Cafe Lara. And our collaborators grow almost monthly, depending on the different workshops that we do and folks who reach out to us. We've done some other collaborations here and there, but these are our main collaborators. All right, I think now's a good time for a door prize. So Eric, if you wanted to do the thing and draw a name for this awesome prize pack valued at over $100 from On the Mat. It includes an On the Mat hat, a travel mug, and a 5-class pass. And while they are located in Halifax, what's awesome is right now they're doing all of their classes online because of the pandemic. So you don't actually need to be based in Halifax to participate. So if you haven't already dropped your email in the chat to Eric, now's your last chance before he does a draw.
I think that's it. All right, so drum roll, please. The prize for the yoga pass goes to Karina.
Awesome. So if you didn't get your email in for this prize, you can still send it to Eric because we have 4 more. Cool. So social media is a big part of what we do, especially given the pandemic because we can't meet face to face. To date, we have around 1,300 followers, and 245 of those have been since last year. So we really did gain a strong following in 2019. On Facebook, we have 548 likes, which is 131 since last year. A total of 159 pledges, 56 of those are since last year. And one of the most exciting things I find is our new website that Joni spent a significant amount of time redoing. So thanks to Joni for that. And we also have a new blog interface with over 20 plus blog posts, which are all created by our ambassadors. And I just included a screenshot of our Instagram feed, which I would say is probably our main social media platform. In terms of our operations, this year alone, we've hosted 2 fundraisers, one with the Oddsum House and one was a Goodwill bot. The Oddsum House fundraiser was actually held this January, almost a year ago. We did a clothing swap where Cafe Lara had a donation jar and they had some promos going on to get people into the shop, and folks gave a minimum donation of $5, and people sipped their drinks as they swapped clothing, and we raised over $100 for the Oddsum House, and all of the extra clothing that did not get sipped and swapped out was donated to them as well. And the Goodwill bot was a fundraiser hosted by Good Robot Brewing. We've also done 5 workshops so far. One was a DIY self-care product workshop at the Tear Shop before the pandemic, where we got together and we made deodorant and toothpaste and a few other products that are package free. We also had a gardening workshop. One of our ambassadors and summer student Olivia put together a bird feeder workshop that was posted online. We held an easy mending webinar where we learned how to do simple repairs, simple hemming, and even how to embroider. And just most recently, we did a kimchi making workshop, which I'm halfway through the kimchi batch that I already made. It's really good. And most of those workshops are available on our YouTube channel, where this recording will be posted afterwards. We have also done 7 different events and activities. So the clothing swap I kind of mentioned earlier was also a fundraiser. We did the Eco Olympics at DAL, which is held by the Dalhousie University Office of Sustainability, where they had different events going on around campus. I did some canvassing down in Risley Hall at the residence, where I have this What Goes Where activity. And I just engaged with the students and tested their knowledge of what goes where. And I always love doing those activities. It's nice to chat with folks, and everyone usually walks away learning at least one thing new. We also did a school supply drive in collaboration with the Mi'kmaq Friendship Center. We did a low waste challenge as part of Oceans Week. Olivia also pulled together a repurposing challenge where we encouraged folks to repurpose things that would have otherwise been trash that were at home. And Olivia also created a low waste bingo card, which was a lot of fun, and that we use that on social media. And even considering that over the past 9 months, we've been in the pandemic, we've still been able to host some workshops and events and activities and create some engagement online, which is great. I know certainly when I participate in these events, they do inspire me and keep me going. We've also done 5 official talks and chats. We had a low waste climate cafe with the Truro Climate Club. We had another storytelling event with Starfish Canada. We did 2 CBC Main Street interviews, and I was featured on People Taking Action, a podcast where I talked a little bit about the story of Stop Trashing It. And those are just things that I've spoken about, but I know some of our ambassadors have also been doing podcasts and have their own projects, events, and activities as well. So even though this is what we're officially reporting as Stop Trashing It doing, our network is far and wide. And I think of the Pay It Forward movie where, one person does one thing and then, they affect 3 people, and then those 3 people affect 3 more people, and it just grows and grows. And that's really where the power of the network comes together. And the people, the most exciting part about Stop Trashing It. So our board is right now comprised of 5 people. I'm the director, Chloe's our assistant director, Eric's our treasurer, Karina's our secretary, and Joni's our digital officer. And so that's our board. And we right now have 16 ambassadors, as I mentioned, across Canada. I should add that Nova Scotia's in there too, as well as Washington, DC. And we had 1 summer student this year, and we had 1 summer student last year as well. However, this year, our summer student was funded by DeSuso's Green Grant. Do any of our board members want to say a few words?
Hi, everyone. This is Chloe Kennedy speaking. I just wanted to say hello to everyone, introduce myself, and thank Alexa for putting together this presentation. I know it's been really exciting for all of us to witness the workshops that are happening and seeing this network really come together. I know that COVID has made the plans very difficult for this year in terms of, the exciting plans that were in place for some of the in-person workshops. So it's really been amazing to watch the adaptation happen in terms of hosting things virtually. And Alexa and the team has done an amazing job of adapting to that. It's been a strange year for Stop Trashing its first year as ENGO. I think things are coming along well. So thank you, Alexa.
Thanks, Chloe. Yeah, definitely a bumpy start to a first year of inception, but here we are, alive and thriving. I'm going to pass it over to 2 of our ambassadors to share a little bit about their low waste journeys and their experiences with Stop Trashing It, because I truly believe that the strong part of our organization is the people. So I'm going to pass it over to Jen. Jen's one of our original ambassadors who's been with us pretty much since the start. So Jen, over to you.
Hi, everyone. Yes, so my name is Jen. I'm a blogger and podcaster. I live just outside Halifax in Lower Sackville, moving to the South Shore in the new year, which I'm really excited about. I joined in, I think, February of 2019 because I was telling someone I know about my personal goal to reduce plastic for the year of 2019. And he connected me with Alexa and thought that I would be a really good fit to be an ambassador. And I think there were 4 or 5 of us at that point. So it was definitely a lot smaller. I love being an ambassador. I love working with Alexa and the rest of the group. I think we work really well together. Yeah, I think my favorite part is meeting these people, mostly virtually, but I've learned a lot from all of them, and I feel like I've grown a lot as a person, and in my like eco-conscious journey, just through them, because they kind of keep me like motivated on track with our monthly meetings, just like a nice reminder that like, hey, this is important, like keep this top of mind. So yeah, I feel like I wouldn't have stuck with it as much without having these people around me to motivate me. An opportunity to be part of the clothing swap that we had in early 2020, which was a really fun experience. We had a lot of people come out, so that was really nice. And yeah, I feel like I'm a better human on this planet because of being part of Stop Trashing It. So yeah, yay.
That's awesome, Jen. Thanks so much for sharing. It's really cool to see the perspective that you bring to Stop Trashing It too as a personal finance blogger. Your blog posts always kind of tie in your passion for, saving money with the low waste movement, and your perspective is always very refreshing. So thanks for being engaged. And Drew, I'll pass it over to you. Drew is one of our, I don't even want to say one of our newer ambassadors because we've grown so much in the last little bit. But Drew's also been quite active, so I'm just going to let Drew speak for themselves.
Hi, so my name is Drew DeCoste. I am a master's student at Dalhousie University, and I'm currently living in Halifax. I guess, so I was going to talk about like my low waste journey, and I guess like how I ended up with being passionate about garbage. In my first year university, I had to take an introduction to environmental sciences class, and my like brain was shattered with how awful the world was. And so I started my low waste journey like right then and there. I changed my diet to a more sustainable one, all of my like cleaning products, and wouldn't let myself get a cup of coffee unless I had a reusable mug in hand. I felt kind of odd being so passionate about garbage all of this time. And then I found Stop Trashing It, and it's kind of made me feel like reassured by knowing like-minded people that are equally as passionate about garbage. So I guess with Stop Trashing It, I followed them on Instagram, I think in the fall of last year, right when I started my master's, because I wanted to get into the waste management field. I wasn't really sure at that point like where I was going with it, but I knew it had to be about trash. So followed Alexa and Stopped Trashing It. And then it wasn't until the spring that I applied to be an ambassador, and I was welcomed with open arms. I've attended all the meetings, and it was really interesting to participate in the like waste jar challenge that Stop Trashing It had done. I've written some blog posts. They're not excellent, but they're there. And I guess, I don't know, I don't do a whole lot with Stop Trashing It, but I feel like I get a whole lot from it, if that makes sense. So yeah.
Thanks for sharing, Drew. I think we definitely get a lot from you. Don't discredit yourself. It's always interesting to hear what everyone has to say about their experiences, and I feel like a lot of us have very similar experiences to how we ended up being really passionate about trash. I make the joke all the time that I talk trash for a living, so definitely the same walk of life. Awesome. Well, before we keep going any further, I think now's a good time for a surprise break. So we have 2 gift cards for Evan's Fresh Seafood and Restaurant. They are family owned and operated, providing sustainable and locally caught products in Alderney Landing and Dartmouth. The gift cards are valued at $25 each. Just a reminder, if you haven't already dropped your email in the chat directly to Eric, do so now. Otherwise, Eric, would you like a drum roll?
Yes, please.
Winner is
All right. Oh, Chelsea. Wow. So Chelsea missed the last one, but there you go. Now you're in.
And do you want to draw the second seafood gift card as well?
Sure. I need another drum roll.
Another drum roll. Here we go. And the winner is
All right. And this one goes to Drew.
awesome. So Olivia has been with us since last summer. Olivia is now an ambassador, but was our summer student this summer. She's also doing her master's at Dal. And I'm just going to pass it over to her so she can explain a little bit about the project that she's been doing in collaboration with Stop Trashing It. And I'm just going to pass it right on over. Over to you, Olivia.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. So I had a research project to conduct over the summer, and that was with Dalhousie, and then I did it in partnership with the Stop Trashing It network. So basically the project was looking at the pandemic and the waste that has resulted from that, and the change in waste habits that has also caused. So there's actually some people in this call that have either been interviewed or reached out to regarding this project. So for the methods, we did a survey and interviews with stakeholders in the waste industry. So we received 89 survey responses, and I had 6 interviews. And just to briefly go over what we got from the project, we found that there was an increase in disposal of PPE, so personal protective equipment, mostly masks, but there were also a lot of gloves littered, and Halifax Water had an issue as well where people were flushing gloves and it was clogging impellers. There was also a surplus, an increase of single-use plastics, bottles from alcohol consumption, construction and demolition materials, cardboard from packages like Amazon, and food delivery like meal kits. And there was also an increase in household waste and curbside tonnage. And then on the other hand, they saw a decrease in commercial and institutional waste, so like at schools like Dalhousie. And then another big impact that the pandemic had was that a lot of programming was paused. So a lot of like outreach events, educational events, things like the dump and run at Dalhousie, things like donation drop-off boxes were closed. And then from these overall key findings, we just formulated some recommendations. So up until now, most of the messaging that I found from stakeholders was reactive. So now it's trying to be proactive with it and seeing, okay, we've dealt with waste from the pandemic now, so how can we move forward and kind of prevent further waste? And then just reflecting messaging to have behavioral adjustments to prevent litter and things like that. And then just a focus going forward on eco-friendly alternatives to the, I guess, trash that we saw an increase of. So things like using bioplastics for PPE, pushing the use of reusable masks, things like that, and then just improving current plastic disposal strategies. So that was just kind of like a brief overview, and we are currently doing a review of the research paper, and that's going to be online at the beginning of next year, so keep an eye out for that. And then I'm also working on developing some infographics, so you should be seeing those sometime soon.
Great work, Olivia. Thanks for sharing. This research, I've had so many people reach out to the Stop Trashing It email, kind of asking if we have any information around pandemic pollution and asking if things have changed and have we noticed anything. So this research could not be more timely. And I think that the recommendations that you've pulled forward are really key, and they might not necessarily be, moonshot recommendations, but it does give us a clear way forward. And I mean, it's impossible not to notice the masks that are everywhere. There was one point where the ambassadors were sending me pictures of the masks, and we were posting them to Facebook. And at one point we just had to be like, okay, maybe we should just take a break because they are everywhere. Pervasive. Awesome. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled on the website. We'll make an announcement when the report is up, and the infographics will be shared on social media as well. So I'm going to pass it over to Eric. Eric's going to provide a little bit of a financial update, which is part of what's required with the AGMs.
So just quickly to touch up on the mask situation, I did a cleanup 2 weeks ago, just near the Halifax Harbor, and like it's an insane amount, like you were saying. So definitely a problem. Great presentation too, by the way. So Alexa touched a bit on the how our grants work. So this year we had 3 major grants, and that provided us with the majority of our funding. We raised $5,200 through the grants. To date, we used $2,551.91. Of course, we'll get into the spending in the next slide there, but with the majority of our workshops kind of running into the online scenario rather than the in-person workshops we had planned for, we're definitely under budget this year, which is a good thing. So we have $2,648.09 remaining in this budget. So we can, if you want to go to the next slide there. Right. So with the admin costs, it's costing us $1,860.96, and that's mostly for things like our website and domain and payroll, etc. The workshops, you can see there, we're definitely under budget because we had to really scale back. So I'm not. Do you want me to go through all of this, or it's?
I think that's okay. Mainly just flagging that the remainder of our funds that we have yet to spend from the workshops, we're currently waiting to hear back from an Eco Action grant, where the remainder of the funds that we have not spent that would be going towards the workshops are going to be used to fund match and hopefully hire a co-op student for the winter. But otherwise, most of our funds really are spent on digital communications, which makes most sense because that is where most of the action happens.
We've also looked into some of the CRA guidelines for nonprofits with budgeting carrying over, and it's really fortunate this year that we have some money left over, because with COVID we really don't know what's going to happen with grants and funding in the future. So we're allowed to have this operational cost kind of put forward should it need to come to that. So we have yeah, we're $2,648 under budget. So really excited about next year.
Before we talk about what's coming next year, let's do another prize, shall we? These are the Scotian Shore bracelets. Scotian Shores actually did provide us with a donation this year, which was quite lovely of them. Shout out to Eric for making that connection. Eric, do you want to speak about these bracelets? I think you're a better fit considering that you know more about them.
Yeah, so I have 2 of them with me right now. I'm not sure if you guys can see the screen or the presentation, but they're actually really, really nice bracelets. They're all locally made. Angela, the founder of Scotian Shores, she gets out and she's in the freezing cold and the rain, she's cleaning up all the shorelines. I did a cleanup with her a few weeks ago. She tries to collect as much sea glass as she can to help make these bracelets and everything, and she cleans 1 pound of shoreline waste for every item sold. So she sells some other things as well. But the bracelets are really cool. And also she donates $2 to every item sold to a nonprofit that's helping to protect the environment. So I have two of them here. I'm gonna ask for another drum roll for the first prize. you
Is
guys are cool. This one goes to Olivia.
cool.
I saw you cheering there. All right, and the second one,
Would you like another drum roll?
also very cool. Of course, I'd like another drum roll.
All right, here we go. Drum roll.
All right.
And the winner is.
Oh wow, this one goes to Eric, sitting right next to her. It's random. I don't know if you can see, but I got the Google random generator, so not cheating, guys.
Right before you said that, I was joking. I was like, Eric.
You willed it to be.
That's funny. Alrighty. So what's on the horizon? One of the biggest things that we've flagged is just expanding our capacity. And so the way that we're going to do this is we're creating new roles to kind of be able to delegate and have individuals focus on specific parts of Stop Trashing It. These are just kind of in somewhat of a random order. We're hoping to have an ambassador coordinator. This might be filled by a senior ambassador, mainly someone who really takes ownership of the ambassador program. And so that is something that'll be new and on the horizon. Another key feature is our social media co-managers, Jess and Joni. They've been working together on kind of figuring out how to best use our social media, and kind of as part of that, Jess is now managing our blog, and Joni is now, Joni has already been doing this, but now it's more official as the graphic designer. Do either of you maybe want to speak to a bit about what you're doing with the social media before I get into the other positions?
Sure. Well, we've been talking about how to leverage social media to be really engaging too, since we know a lot of our following are equally as passionate about these topics too. So trying to, post some stories more often and hear from them too. Maybe ask them about some of their zero waste initiatives or how they're going to be like low waste this holidays, do some quick polls in the stories and continue to push out great content through the blog.
Awesome. Even just in the few short weeks that both of you have been working together on this, our social media, our content is way more consistent. So whatever you both are doing is working great. Cool. We're also hoping to maybe fill an academic officer position. This individual would be responsible for communicating with the university, mainly Dalhousie, being able to take on doing some of the overseeing of any students and any type of funding that would need to be done. This is currently a role that I'm doing, but I can, if someone did want to step into that role, that would be great. And the two others are the events coordinator and the outreach and partnership coordinator. These could be the same position, but we have them as two distinct ones right now, or two distinct roles. Events coordinator would be planning the workshops, any events and activities, really taking ownership of setting them up start to finish, helping with planning. And then the outreach and partnership coordinator would be responsible for dealing with any inquiries about collaborations or reaching out to different businesses to perhaps build some sort of partnership. And this would also include, partnerships also include any type of fundraising. In addition to that, we have had a summer student, but we want to extend that to have a rolling student position as a professional development opportunity. So we are trying to set up a co-op student opportunity with Dalhousie University for the winter. We are waiting to hear back from Eco Action. We want these positions to be paid positions. Our first time it was an unpaid internship. Last year we had a small grant. But moving forward, I think that this is something we really, really have to push for, is being able to secure funding for a student. And this student would be able to fill some of these roles. They would definitely be taking on events coordination, outreach, partnerships, and perhaps a little bit of ambassador coordination, filling in on supporting social media, creating blog posts, doing their own research projects. So really, they're kind of, I would say like an ambassador plus plus, doing some of the stuff that our ambassadors are already doing, but with more specific roles. And it really would be a great opportunity for some professional development skills that you don't necessarily get in university, applying that knowledge in tangible ways. And of course, our board members. And we want to see, we would hopefully have a few more board members in the future with really active responsibility, so that way the weight is shared. And other than that, in terms of what else is on the horizon, one of the goals that we had since we started out was having an ambassador in every province. And this is going to stay on the list forever until we can have it in every province and every territory, I should say. In 2021, I'd love to see our reach grow to 2,000 Instagram followers. That seems to be where we have the most pull. Not that there isn't, interest in Facebook. That's obviously important as well. But to keep growing our reach on social media. Right now, one of our biggest struggles, I truly believe, is engagement with our workshops and our online sessions. We've had pretty low turnout. So I think that's where an event coordinator would really excel, also in working with our social media managers to come up with a strong promo plan for the workshops, making sure they're at appropriate times, days of the week that work for everyone, so that we can have, more folks join our online sessions. And as I kind of mentioned, that ties in with marketing and coordination to really make sure that even though we're not doing in-person workshops, that what we're doing is still meaningful and we're still engaging a lot of people. I think also one of the benefits of online sessions is that we can now record them and put them online, whereas before we weren't recording our sessions. So that information wasn't necessarily everlasting. So that's definitely something that we're going to work on improving in the new year. Continue coming out with new informative projects rooted in research and information sharing. The project that Olivia is doing is a perfect example of that, where, we're using our skill set as environmentalists and as most of us are academics, researchers, students, being able to apply those skill sets into something that we're interested in, and to then be able to put that into direct policy recommendations or to support individual actions. A project that I've been talking about for a few months now is, it'd be really awesome if we did some research on, just in our local communities, what coffee shops allow us to use our reusable mugs, doing a little bit of that research and then creating some sort of, communications piece. So continuing to do those sorts of projects that are informative and get people to act, whether it's, a project that we're leading ourselves, or if it's something like the Repurpose Challenge, where, we kind of did it internally and then we communicated that outwards and tried to encourage others to do what we're doing. And of course, more collaborations. One of the biggest key pieces right now hindering that is capacity. So with partnership and outreach coordinator, we really will be able to take on more partnerships with other organizations that reach out to us who have similar missions. So with that, this is our last prize before I'll open it up to questions and discussion. This prize is awesome. It's valued at over $1,200. It's with Nova Camp. They're a group local to Halifax that does gear renting supplies. So you can rent all sorts of camping stuff, so you don't need to purchase it. And so they've given us a 2-night camping rental, which includes a tent, 2 sleeping bags, 2 sleeping mats, a cooler, cookware, first aid kit, and more. Nova Camp, actually, my roommate ended up renting some stuff for one of our last camping trips, and the stuff that they have is in tip-top shape and condition. It's awesome quality camping gear. So this is an incredible prize. Whoever gets it, you are in for a real treat. Shall we do a drum roll?
I think I'm going to need everyone to help me with this drum roll.
All right. Everyone off mute.
All right.
Here comes the drum roll.
I'm watching your screen, so get drumming. All right, and this prize goes to
Dun, 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 dun.
Jennifer.
Yay!
Jennifer, yay!
Awesome.
Nice, congratulations.
Cool. So before we wrap it up, I'd love to hear from everyone if you have any questions or comments. I see we have a few in the chat. Chelsea was mentioning perhaps a resource list of restaurants that provide compostable takeout containers. That's a great idea. Does anyone else have any questions or comments, ideas?
I just wanted to mention I saw on Instagram this week's post going around about locally owned stores for shopping. So maybe if one of us can track that down, it would be good for us to share that so that our local businesses are supported this holiday season. Yeah, no Amazon for anybody.
That blog post you wrote, Jen, about giving up Amazon was very impressionable. And if the point wasn't already made after reading that, it definitely made me think twice.
Oh, good. Yeah, I haven't bought from Amazon since February, so yeah, don't need them.
I just want to come on here and just say hello to everyone. And also thank you, Alexa, for founding this beautiful network. I find it extremely inspiring. It's one of the reasons why, while I was watching you make it grow, it was one of the reasons why I wanted to be on the board, because I also love talking about garbage, and I'm still working on eliminating the garbage I produce. But I love all the blogs, all the ambassadors. It's incredible to see when a group of people come together, what you can accomplish. So yeah, I just wanted to come on here and say hello. And yeah, thanks very much.
Thanks, Joe.
Sorry. Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Oh, and now we cannot. Oh, I think Karina accidentally hung up. Maybe she'll call back.
Also too, since this is being recorded, and for all of those who are watching this in the future, if you're ever interested in becoming a brand ambassador, or you want to do a collaboration of anything, please reach out to us. You can reach out to us on our Instagram, on Facebook, by email. We definitely would love to chat and see how we can reduce our impact on this planet.
It's a great point, Joni. Well, I guess that is a great foot to leave off on. So thanks everyone for taking time out of your evening to chat and share and hear about what Stop Trashing It's up to. I really appreciate everyone's engagement and involvement, and I look forward to keeping on.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Alexa. Excellent presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alexa.
See ya.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks so much.